KK Slider's first Saturday night performance featuring a dozen fresh new jams since the 2.0 update released has come and gone, and now we eagerly await the next. Prior to the update, we were given a sneak peek of all the album covers, but other than KK Break and KK Polka, we could only speculate as to what these songs would sound like, given the music genres referenced in their titles. But since our last video, which you can find in the description below, we had the opportunity to hear all 12 new songs in acoustic, Aircheck, and even music box forms that the musician has been cooking up for the occasion. So we thought it would be a good idea to present a sample of all 3 versions of these music compos. Since he provides only one Aircheck album per character for that week, this may help in deciding what to request first for next Saturday night. We'll even show how to craft music boxes to listen to these and every KK Slider song to date. Let's get started with the live acoustic versions. Chillwave. For a style usually heard as electronica, hearing it on a guitar is very reminiscent of jazz ballad songs. KK Bashment. Like expected, this is dancehall, but it's more on the relaxed side, and its reggae roots aren't as obvious in this form. KK Break. This one is pretty groovy, and its hip-hop and funk origins really shine through, even with just the acoustic guitar, vocals, and whistling. KK Chorinho. Being a traditional Brazilian style, it's no surprise that this would prove to be an authentic performance when played on a guitar. KK Dub. At first, this sounds like a classic ballad, but the echoed delay on the guitar reveals that this truly is another genre inspired by reggae. KK Fugue. Well, guitar isn't really what one would think when it comes to the classical fugue, but this works just as well as any of the expected instruments. KK Hop. The pacing definitely has that classic hip-hop feeling, which is accentuated well with KK Slider's whistling and beatboxing. We can only guess that the detuned vocals in various parts are meant to be rapping. KK Khoomei. Okay, this one is impressive and incredibly unique. At first we only had a wild idea that we potentially could hear the Mongolian throat singing, but it really was incorporated and in such a cool way too. KK Lovers. The strumming really has this sound like another reggae-inspired piece. There sure is a lot of reggae in the update. Other than that, there seems to be a stylistic reference to something rather familiar to Animal Crossing fans here. KK Polka. This one has a memorable melody and a solid 2/4 beat. The softer part is a nice touch. KK Robot Synth. Vocaloid music can vary a lot in style, and this fits right in with that popular sound and presentation. The synthetic quality shows well, given the singing range that reaches into higher pitches and the auto-tune howling. KK Slapkey. The soothing, laid-back feeling of this really does give the vibes of being in Hawaii, although its influences from the Mexican cowboys that brought it to the Polynesian culture can be heard too. Next, we have the Aircheck versions. Feeling almost like an opening theme, this is a great way to start the new set. The dreamy synths with a constant beat really do make for good music to chill out with. Compared to the acoustic version, the reggae roots are a bit clearer, most noticeably from the presence of the synth steel drums. This feeling matches KK Slider's calm sitting pose pretty well after all. This is right in the zone to qualify as 1980s breakbeat style, accenting the funk with a nice wah clavy. And that's all we have to say about this one. Very similar to the acoustic version, this provides the guitar, but adds some really interesting tremolo in the playing and the addition of tambourine, perfectly reflecting the album cover art. Wait, this sounds like the museum fossil exhibit in past Animal Crossing games, mixed with the music you would hear from the original title. Oh, so that's why the cover art has Torakeke in the woods. Animal Forest! With that said, this really does have that Jamaican dub sound. As expected, the fugue is played on a harpsichord and sounds just like something we would have heard from one of the great classical composers. Full of staple sounds like record scratches and shouts, it certainly is a nice nod to the genre. We can think of several games with music just like this. If the acoustic version could feature the throat singing, naturally this version would have it too. It's a rare cultural treat, at least from those not from the region. Wait, this sounds just like music from City Folk! That's why it seemed familiar. Maybe that's the reason for the cityscape in the album art, too. Just as we remember from the Direct, this is a great addition. We're honestly surprised Polka wasn't represented before this. It makes perfect sense that a modified version of KK Slider's voice would be prominent in this piece. Despite the bouncy accompaniment, this seems like a sort of serenade or love song, which we can see from Todakeke's reaching out towards the audience like a heartthrob. This is not much different than the acoustic version, but the pitch bends and vibrato make for a much more recognizable island sound. The piece is simple but effective for getting into a relaxing mood. Returning from New Leaf, a third way to hear these songs and every other song from KK Slider is through a crafted music box. But unlike in New Leaf, albums are not used as materials when crafting. Instead, you can listen to every song you have registered already, or register albums in your pocket like you would any other music player. There are two types of customizable music boxes added in the 2.0 update as random DIY recipes that you can craft: the wooden music box and the shell music box. Playing a song using a music box transforms it into an orogoru version of the song. Orogoru is the Japanese word for music box, adopted from the Dutch word for organ, orgel, and is used frequently for music box collections in Japan. We'll just run through this set to give a short sample of each tune with no commentary. Enjoy! Charming, aren't they? Just imagine, there are 95 more of these music box melodies based on all of the older songs, too. So what do you think of these new songs, their variations, and the return of music boxes? And what will be the next song you'll request from KK Slider? Let us know in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell if you haven't yet, and check out the videos on the right for content that may interest you. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Animal Crossing New Horizons and other things gaming too. Until next time, ciao.